Hello everyone and welcome to episode 144 of the 10-minute modeling challenge. We're back to the roots now. We're doing some 10-minute modeling, and this week I'm going to be modeling a crate, a wood crate. You would have thought that I would have done that in any of the previous 143 episodes, but I hadn't, so it's going to be a crate. And normally you probably would have just gone into Blender, marked all the faces, done I for inset again, and then Alt-E to extrude, and then do something like that, and then just color it brown or something and say that's a crate. So generally that's what you do, but I want to put some more character to it, and it's not really going to be low poly because I'm going to be modeling all the individual planks and see if we can get a bit of a more stylized crate that way. A stylized wooden crate, sort of low poly-ish, but probably not quite that low poly. In ready, steady, go, and we're off. Yep, it's counting down. So this, do you know what? I'm going to do Shift D to duplicate this one. It's one of my favorite things to do. Scale Z, scale on the y-axis, and then I'm going to put a plank right here. So E to extrude, and that's our first plank. L to select the link, Shift D to duplicate this one and move it here, and then Shift D to duplicate that one. I'm going to scale it on the Z-axis, move it up here, and then scale it on the y-axis and something like this, and it has to have character, so it doesn't have to be perfect. Coffee. Coughing. Then move it down to there, and I'm not editing this part, so I can't really cut that out. And then I'm going to put some individual planks here too, and let's put them behind. So Shift D to duplicate that one, scale it down, move it back to there, and I can't really see it now, so let's get rid of this one. L to select link, delete verts, and then grab it to there, and then probably not all the way down, but something like that, and E to extrude. So we'll have some overlapping geometry, but that's okay. L to select the link, and then grab it to there, Shift D to duplicate on the y-axis, and then Shift R to replicate that one and then move it to here. So this is going to be our base. A to select everything, period. I'm going to go to 3D cursor rotating point, and then Shift D to duplicate, rotate Z 90. Shift D, rotate Z 90, Shift D, rotate Z 90, and then Shift D, rotate X 90, Shift D, rotate X 180. So we got some gaps here. I'll have to fix this now. First of all, select all of them and change my UVs with my Infensia Pixpal palette texture into some brown color, something like that will do. And now we're going to stylize it. So that was 1.5 minutes. And I think I just need to make sure that I cover all of these like different areas up now. So let's grab a few of these, move them in, and grab this one. So the more character now, the better. So it doesn't really matter if some of the planks are thicker than others. This one can go maybe up to here. It just adds character. Make it a little bit wonky, that's all good. Move this one down. So a bit manually here. There are probably automated ways to do this, but I'll just want to try to get that character into it like there. Bring that down. L to select the link. For these, I think I'll select all of them and just shift the bottom one up to there. This plank could go down. This plank could go probably through. No, that's going to go there. And this one down. This one, let's move this whole one over to the right. Scale it on the y-axis. Oh, okay, I'm period again. I need to go back to medium point. Scale, y-axis. Here, grab this one up, and this one up, and this whole plank can go up to here. So a bit of like a jigsaw puzzle here or something. But again, we don't really matter that it's wonky. It's good. Makes it look a little bit more stylized. And this one, should we move this in? Grab those two faces at the top, move that into there, and move this one out. Something like that. And this is looking all right. Okay, it takes time to do these things now, so I'm already 3 minutes in. We'll put even more character to it now, so I'm going to just Control R, loop cut this one, scale it, and then Control R, G, move it. More organic is better. Control R, up here, Control R, G, move that on, Control R, scale it, G to move it, Control R, there we go, and G to move that on. And then here, should we do GG to slide that one down, get a bit of a character there, Control R, scale, G to move it. I'm going to try to put some edge wear too, and some notches and some stylized different shadings on it. And we'll use the palette texture, of course. So G, Control R, G, scale it, G, Control R, and again. So it's like, with it being six sides, it takes a bit of time because you have to rotate around it and do it. So you can rotate this cube. The good thing is that you can use this very same asset now and just have loads of variations on it. because you can actually have it facing in 6 different directions, and then you can rotate it around its own axis. So I think it'll be a total combo of 24 different orientations that you could have in a game for it. So even this just one single crate could create quite a lot of different variations. So we'll grab that one, Control R, G, and Control R, G, Control R, G, and then Control R, and then here we'll just, I'll wonkify it a little bit, rotate on the Z axis. We'll try that. Control R, rotate Z axis. Control R, rotate Z axis. Get a bit of a twist here. Move this one in. That's it. And G, G. Okay. Up here I haven't done much. So Control R, loop cut. Control R, loop cut. Control R, and move that to the side. Control R. You get the point now. Control R. I'm at least using screencast keys, so in case for some odd reason you don't hear what I'm saying, you could just look at the keys that I'm doing. Okay. Oh, here. Control R. Scale this one. Control R. Rotate. Scale. Control R. Rotate. Ah, more. Always something that I've missed. Control R. Scale. GG. Scale. Control R. G. Okay. Am I got everything? Bottom. Scale, Control R, GG, scale, Control R, GG. Unreal Engine 5.6 is released, by the way. That's cool. I watched the keynote, that was pretty interesting. So I'm looking forward to 6.7 though, when you can do foliage, nanite foliage. That's going to be cool. There we go. Control R, scale, and Control R, there, G, and this is quite repetitive. Control R, there's another side that I've missed. Control R, rotate, and Control R. Now we're going to start to put some details. So I've got 4 minutes left. So maybe we'll do, here we got a little bit of overlap, but it doesn't really matter. GG, and then GG, slide this one down. Now I'm going to do Control B to bevel this one, GG to slide it, GG to slide that one, GG, GG. And then we'll do a little bit of a brighter shade here. Get that edge where we'll have to do this on all of them a little bit, so but different sizes, so we can get that variation in GG, GG. GG slides it along an edge, which is pretty neat. So we'll grab these faces, G, move it up to 1, and then here, should we do one at the top here maybe? Control R, G, and then we'll do this here, and this one. Control B, bevel, GG, and GG, GG. There we go. Shift select them, and brighter. So I need to have this a little bit on each side, I guess. Control R, Control B, GG, repetitive, GG, GG, and grab those, brighter. And then here, do it on this edge, Control B, bigger chunk there, GG, 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 and grab those, brighter. So I think, okay. Another one, Control R, Control B, B for bevel, Control B then, GG, GG, slide it, Shift select, and grab it there. And then we'll do one more at the top here, Control R. I'll do one of the inner ones here, so Control B. Want to try to get all the sides looking slightly different all the time, so grab those. I'm going to try to put some notches in now too. And of course, texture painting could have been a good way to do it, but I'm going to use my Infancy Pixel palette texture. So I'm going to put K for knife tool and upset a lot of people that want to have quads in their lives. So we'll grab it to there, and then I'm going to do I to inset, B, or I to insetting, and don't want individual. And then we'll just slide this in a little bit and then make it darker in that case, just like that. Okay, that's fine. And we'll put another notch maybe on this one, K, and then grab, this one's going to be a bit thinner. And at the end of this, I'm going to try to take this crate and rotate it in in a bunch of different directions, and we'll see what it looks like. So I to inset, and then move this in a little bit manually, and then grab it to a little bit darker. That's it. And then we'll do something at the top here. We'll do a smaller one here. So tab into edit mode, K. I'm going to do something like a little bit more stylized here, like something like this maybe. Now grab that one, I to inset, and then move it down. Voice crack. That's it. Maybe that was too much down. Move it up again. All right, so I could have put nails on it too, but I won't. That's going to take too long. So I'll put another Control B for bevel here. GG, And I've only got 56 seconds, so this is pretty much all I can really do now. So we'll put another, maybe I'll do another K here, K. And I could have done some interesting splinter or something. I don't know if I have time for that. I to inset, move it down and move it into there, and then Control R, scale it. Okay, I'll put one more bevel here. I only have 30 seconds to go. G, move it up to there, and then, okay, I'll do something a bit more interesting here. E to extrude this one. I don't know why I'm doing that, but just felt like doing something different. And then we'll do one more thing here. Control R, G, and then move this one up. Should I bevel that corner? Control Shift B, it is for vertex beveling. And 7 seconds, so I'll do one more. Control Shift B to bevel that verge, and then make it bright. And one more. Control Shift B, there we go, and that's it, time's up. Dismiss. So here's our crate now. I tried to get it as wonky as possible, so I'll save this one for now. So Shift D to duplicate it, and I'm gonna hide my original, because I think I need to fine tune it a little bit more. This one looks a bit too straight, so G to move that on. Just do some final tweaking here of the wood crate. So this could be a game asset in some form of game. And G, I wonder if I should make some planks slightly different color. Maybe all of the inner planks. I should have probably done something like this. Shift D to duplicate this one, scale it down, scale it on the X-axis, move it into there, and then E to extrude it, and then put like a diagonal strut here, or whatever that's called. And I probably should have done Control R and then moved it in so it gets a little bit more, something like that. Then Alt Z to see through, grab that face, move it down to there, Control R, Control R, and then do one here too. Move it to there, there, and I think these diagonal ones would have made it look a little bit more interesting. Control R, loop cut, and then I can just rotate this one around a little bit. And then I think I'm gonna do all of these inner ones. Let's shift them, like make them one set darker. So LL, LLL, L selects the linked. So any, why is it doing? Feels like it's not aiming where my mouse cursor is. Look, I'm like hovering here and it grabs that one. That's interesting. Is that another bug? So we have some issue now where L is usually like when I hover over something, it should select it. And it's slightly misaligning it sometimes, but never mind. LLL, is that all of them? I think so. And then we'll try to make everything here on the left one step darker. I think that's better. Yeah, that looks much more interesting. And then grab this one and we'll do Shift D to duplicate that one. Period again, 3D cursor, rotate Z 90. And then Shift D, rotate Z 90. And then these will have to be fixed a little bit because they're not like perfectly aligned. Scale it down a bit. Shift D to duplicate that one, rotate Z 90 and move it into there. And then should we do, yeah, we'll do the top, rotate X 90. Okay, rotate Y 90. Move it down and then Shift D to do rotate Y 180. And then move this one down. Okay, rotate Z 92. So, okay. And then I'm just going to make them a little bit different so they don't all look identical too. So some of them a little bit thinner maybe, like this. G, G, and then this one, a bit different. Maybe I'll do this whole thing, G. There we go. And this one, how should we make this one different? G, thicker. Doesn't really, okay, this one's like hanging out in space. It's definitely got some alignment issue when I do the L for linked, so that's interesting. G to select that one, and this one I think needs to come out. This gap is too big, so let's grab these, make this whole plank thicker, I think. That's it. This one's too high. Move this one down, scale it. Okay, period again, go back to median, scale it. Scale it on the X-axis, rotate it a bit, G, and scale it up again. So something like this, I think, should be good. Now we can try, okay, maybe a little bit more texture. Let's try that too. So I don't know, I don't have a timer on now. So I'll do K, and we'll do a longer slit here. Maybe I'll also do, instead of just doing dark, should I only do darker? It's too dark, maybe. G, move it up to there. Okay, I think it actually puts too much texture on. So I can't really do, I'll just keep them small like that, I think. Put another notch here. Okay, do them a bit thinner. And this one could be dark. I could have gone for a different wood color altogether, like down at the bottom I've got some more shades here. But sometimes it's good to keep them quite distinctively different too. And G, maybe I'll rotate this one and E to extrude this one. So could have put nails on it too, but I don't think I will. And I could have put details here. Don't think I will do that either. G, Control R, G, and then should we put another notch here? Okay. Is there anything else that I could have put on the crate? A label or something maybe? Maybe that could be interesting. I to inset, and then just move it down a little bit, and then one step darker. That's it. Let's put a label on it. Where would you stick the label though? Maybe just on the front here. So I don't know what it'll look like, but we'll try Shift D to duplicate, and then move it into here, scale Z, E to extrude, L select the linked, and then we'll just go for like a pale, not a perfect white, but a pale white or something. And then maybe the edges there should be darker, and then we'll stylize it too, Control R. And then should we peel it maybe? G to move that on. I think I'll do like a peeling effect here. And Control R, so I'll do this and Control R. And then I guess I'll slice it here. J to collect those, and then I'll do the back ones. J. Can I do Control R here? And no, that won't work. That's interesting actually. I'm not quite sure what the best way to slice this one is to allow a peeling effect. I'll have to think now. Because I want to be able to have it sliced here diagonally. Maybe I'll just do L to select the linked, Control I, H to do that one, and then I think I'm just going to do K for a knife tool, and then C to cut through, and then we'll just slice it like this. K. Is it cutting through? Yeah. K. K. And that's it. And then I'll just grab these, Control plus, and then proportional, and then I'll just rotate this a bit. Maybe I'll have to look from the angle there and rotate. Key. Rotate. Key. Something like that. Probably much better ways to do that than I just did. Alt H to do that on, that's hidden. And that's our peeling label. Now I'm going to try to stack this one a few times. So we've got the whole crate there, move it up to here. So front view, it's actually upside down here. Rotate Z 180. I lost orientation here. Rotate 180. That's it. Control A, let's apply that rotation too. And then Shift E to duplicate. Let's see how varied this one will be now. So if I rotate this one Z90, Shift E to duplicate it, rotate X90, and then Shift E, we'll stack a whole bunch of them here. Rotate Z90 again. So this is the same crate now. Shift E to duplicate this one, rotate Z90 again, rotate X90. Shift E to duplicate this one, rotate Z90. There's another one. Actually, I'll skip the label on that one. That's it. That one we already have. Shift E to duplicate this one, rotate 90. X. Shift E to duplicate this one, rotate Y90 maybe. And Shift E to duplicate this one, rotate 180. Rotate X 100 or 90. Something like that. So the same crate now will allow us to have quite a lot of visual differences. So one asset, and this is, I use this one a lot in Unfair Rampage, where I actually have only one stone block, but with all the different rotations, it looks all right anyway. And they're stacked a little bit too perfect now. If I move them a little bit offset too, like this. And then grab that one to there. And then you could have stacked them a little bit more differently. Maybe we'll put one like on a slant too. Shift D, it's like falling down a bit. Rotate, manually place there. See, I'm simulating my own physics now to stack this, sliding off a little bit. And then should we try to put a light on too? Shift A, add a light. Should we do a point light? Try that. Then boost up the brightness a lot, like 1,000 or something, 10,000. Put it behind there or something. I could have put one maybe inside one of the boxes because it's like, woo, it's like shining. Should we make it a little bit colorized? Could put different colors in them. I don't know why I'm doing this, but let's try it. I'm gonna put a sunlight here too. Lights, sun, G, rotate. Put strength 2 maybe. And then we'll put a red light there. Shift D to duplicate this one. Sorry, pardon. Make it a little bit blue there. Am I seeing these lights even? They seem so weak. 5 times. Maybe I need to turn down my HDR lighting a bit. Let's try that. There we go. And maybe we'll put a floor on here too. Maybe that's what's missing. I'll just grab any face here. Shift D to duplicate that on. Scale it up. Scale it up. Scale Z. Oh, scale Z 0 to there maybe. And then just make this gray or something. And then separate into a separate object. Yeah, I don't know why I've done these lights inside the crates. I thought it'd be fun to try it out. Should we try a different HDR? There we go. This is going to be the most uninteresting thumbnail I think I've ever done. But it serves a purpose. It's a 10-minute modeling challenge and we're making game assets here. So that was a 10-minute crate, and then we did some tweaking, of course, in our normal Tinker Time manner. And for a game asset, I think this would work, and you don't have to worry too much about the poly count these days. So I think this is definitely okay, even if it's got a few extra triangles there. We save a lot of time not having to texture paint it. And before we finish off, I want to take the opportunity to mention the Ultimate Indie Dev course that I'm doing with Game Dev TV. And it starts on the 8th of June, so it's only a few days left. And the cutoff date is the 7th of June. We're going to stop taking in more people there. And I understand for a lot of my viewers, the price point is going to be a little bit too steep. Because if you're coming out here for free content and my free tutorials, then it's a significant investment to take a course like this. But I've been working on the course for a year now. We created a game specifically for it and put about a year's worth of work into creating the course. And I want to give anyone who seriously wants to have a good stab at the game industry and create independent games and release them on Steam and make them profitable. I want you to learn from my 20 years of learning and mistakes. So I've packed all of that stuff as much as I can into this program that we've made. And that's why the price point is a little bit steep too. But if this is something that interests you, have a look at it, because it'll be about half a year until this one possibly runs the next time. And it's we've got live calls in there, we've got meetings, and you'll meet a lot of other people that are in the same boat that are seriously trying to make a good game, a seriously successful game. And these are all going to be people that are joining in. It's going to be a Discord where people can hang out, cross feedback everything that we're making, and then we'll have these live calls once a week and go through it and feedback on that one too. So check out the link in the description if you are interested in the Ultimate Indie Dev program. And I hope you enjoyed this video too. Give it a thumbs up if you learned something here, and come back next week for another video. Until next time, have a great one, and I'll see you then. Bye for now.